Welcome, everybody. So, I'm going to be covering the Venomoth line, and Venomoth is really, really, really awesome. First things first, no bug psychic. Watch the Ledian video. If that bothers you at all, I think about 10% of you might actually want that. It doesn't make any sense. Venomoth is a venom moth. It's in the name. The whole thing about Venomoth is that they scatter poison. I don't see psychic typing whatsoever. Just because a Pokemon learns psychic and confusion by level up doesn't mean it should be psychic type. Just because Sabrina uses it doesn't mean it should be psychic type. By that logic, Lopunny and Steelix and Dripplum should all be fire type because Flint uses them. The reason that these dumbass trainers in Gen 1 use Pokemon that aren't their type is because there's only 150 Pokemon and because those games were made in like 1998 and they didn't really give a fuck about the stuff back then. I mean, it doesn't fucking Lorelei have like nothing that's her type either. That doesn't mean all those Pokemon should be Ghost or whatever the hell she is. I don't remember. I barely played Gen 1. But yeah, that passive aggressive rant out of the way now, I can talk about the actual cool stuff. I hope that doesn't come off as too harsh to anybody. I'm joking around. If you actually do like that typing, I mean, more power to you. It doesn't. If you can accept that it makes no sense and still say you like it, then I can respect it. And if you do like that type change, then you can go watch Ledian video because Ledian is that typing, and Ledian not only makes way more sense for it, but also abuses that typing really, really well. So you can go check out that video. It's really, really cool. If you wanted a bug psychic bug. So that being said, Venomoth is bug poison. However, it is one of the only two bug poison special attackers, the only other one being Dustox. And Dustox is a lot more bulky with utility, with Levitate and Prankster, while Venomoth is Levitate and Tinted Lens, and is much more offensive. Not that it has no utility, it has a lot of utility actually, but in overall, Dustox is a lot more bulky and a lot more defensive. And like utility, while the Venomoth is more just Unga Bunga, Tinted Lens, do damage. So that being said, I want to cover a couple things. So number one, Venonat. Venonat has Fluffy and Tinted Lens. Tinted Lens is a great ability on Venonat. We already know what Tinted Lens does. It basically, if you don't know, it makes it so that any move that the opponent resists is your moves. Your not very effective moves are doubled in power, so a neutral resist, sorry, a 2 times resist becomes a neutrality, and a 4 times resist becomes a 2 times resist. So bug type is actually buffed offensively in this hack. So bug type, fairy, ghost, and fighting don't resist bug anymore. So those three typings don't have the resist to bug, and therefore with Tinted Lens they go from being neutral. Sorry, like those Pokemon cannot 4 times resist bug anymore. So there's very, very few type combinations that 4 times resist bug. Not zero, but there is way less 4 times resistance to bugs. So for the most part, Tinted Lens Bug Buzz is basically unresisted for the most part. Only a few Pokemon 2 times just Tinted Lens Bug Buzz or Tinted Lens Bug Bomber or Signal Beam or whatever bug type move you're using. And I'll cover all those in a little bit. I'll cover what all those do if you don't know. But point is, Tinted Lens is a great ability. Poison is also good coverage, but obviously that has an immunity and steel. So if you're purely using Tinted Lens sets, you can always just run only bug moves and then 3 utility moves. You don't need to run anything else besides the bug move with Tinted Lens. Obviously, it's nice to have the super effective hit. You know, if you're fighting a fairy type trainer, you're going to want that sludge bomb or whatever, but it's a TM, so you don't need to run that 24/7. Versus Bug Buzz, like, you're not going to want to delete that because that's a level up move. And of course, Bug Bomber at 50 is even stronger. So I'll cover your options in a second, but first I want to cover that Fluffy. So Fluffy is Venonat's other ability. It fits very well. The dex even says that Venonat's hair is like protective or whatever. And also, like, the eyes can also shoot powerful beams, which is why it has a really good base 82 special attack stat for a baby. I was even considering going to like 87, but I think that 82 is fine. What am I trying to say here? A Bug Fairy could kind of work, but overall, like, it's still a poisonous motherfucker. Which is, yeah, here you go. Evolved a coat of thin, stiff hair that covers his entire body for protection. Yeah, you could argue for a coat, but that just seems kind of cursed. Like, he's a fluffy bug. He's not a. I guess it is technically fur, but it's just weird. Also, it'll be kind of overpowered because Fluffy is a lot more balanced. Because Fluffy makes you extremely bulky. However, you do get a 4 times weakness to fire with Fluffy, and it only works on contact moves. So, for example, I can't think of a. I don't know. Icicle Crash or whatever, or Earthquake. Like, obviously those moves aren't. Okay, the Bulldozer, Stopping Tantrum, early game. Those 2 moves are early game moves. Those 2 moves are not affected by Fluffy, but like Fire Punch is. So that's context for you. So you have 50, 35, 72 bulk, but 35 base physical defense is very high with Fluffy. If you put it into the calculator, if you have a neutral nature and you run max defense investment with Fluffy, you're at 338 defense, which is like over base 100. That's like, yeah, over base 100. It's really, really good and bulky and tanky. Obviously, that does give you a 4 times weakness, though. So it is obviously a double-edged sword or a double-edged shield, I guess. I don't know, a fucking plastic shield. I don't know which one, what the term is for that, but yeah, it has a downside, but it is a great ability. And then of course, if you're not running Fluffy or you don't need the Fluffy boost for that battle, you can always just run Tinted Lens. You have a good base 66 speed stat because I can see Venomoth hopping around and stuff, like a little tick, almost like jumping around pretty quickly. So that is a lot more viable with Tinted Lens. You can get off some really quick attacks and get some good damage off early game with 82 base special attack. And then you evolve at level 25, which is a very early level. And then with Venomoth, you have base 117 special attack and 111 speed with Tinted Lens. That already is no matter, literally, if its other stats were fucking, if it had one defensive, one special defense, it would still be a good Pokemon, just based off of the fact that it's fast, strong, and has Tinted Lens, because you can just spam Choice Specs Bug Buzz and kill like everything. It's a great ability. Tinted Lens is one of my favorite abilities personally. I love it. And obviously they had Tinted Lens before. That's not a new ability I gave them. That's just something they always had. I just sneeze. Hold on. Oh Lord. Oh, it went away. God damn it. So it kind of went away, but it's still there. Hold on. Okay. So yeah, Tinted Lens is great. You also have Levitate, which is very niche, but it's very, very good. So Levitate obviously makes you immune to one of the best opposite types in the game, being Ground. Ground has a lot of stronger moves now as well. If you go to the search moves here and in the corner, and you can look at the moves yourself. I will just name a few. You are with Levitate. So the thing is, in this hack, you have access to infinite ability capsules, so you can just swap between Fluffy and Tinted Lens on Venonat, and then Levitate and Tinted Lens on Venomoth, because you aren't always going to need that Tinted Lens. You do have good coverage on Venomoth. You have Bug and Poison Stab. You have Natural Gift, which becomes any type. You have Hidden Power, which can be any type technically. Natural Gift is 110 base power. You have Nature Power, which becomes Thunderbolt under Electric Terrain, which is nice. But then obviously for regular, like standard non-gimmicky coverage, you have Moonblast, you have Extrasensory and Psychic, you have Shadow Ball, and you have Energy Ball. So those are all really good coverage moves, and Dark Pulse. So those are all good coverage moves that cover a lot of stuff. Obviously, it's not like the best thing in the world, which is why Tinted Lens is great, but that is solid coverage to hit a couple of things super effectively. So not every fight you're going to need Tinted Lens. Maybe your hit's already neutral, maybe nothing resists your bug. Then you could just run Levitate for that battle and be immune to ground because you're actually pretty frail, physically, especially you're very frail physically. So being completely immune to ground is a great tool to have in a hard ROM hack like this. To be able to get a free switch into an opponent is amazing. Just to get that free immunity is very good. And also logically, I can't justify anything other than Levitate on all these types of Pokemon. It's always bugged me that they don't have Levitate. I think that all Pokemon that are flying but not flying type should have Levitate as an option. So yeah, and it's always nice because you have ability capsule, so you aren't stuck with Levitate as an ability that's very situational. You can just use your other ability, and then when you need Levitate, you run Levitate. It's very nice. It's a very good situation to be in, to have Levitate and like that. What am I trying to say here? These ground moves are very strong. Like there's new ones such as like special ground moves have like Scorching Sands, Earth Power, Mud Bomb, and Land's Wrath. And then physical is like Drill Run is much more powerful, Stomping Tantrum, Seismic Fist, Megaton Kick, Precipice Blades, Headlong Rush. Like all of these moves are widespread, so ground is even more common than just Earthquake. So being immune to all that is excellent. To freely switch in your Venomoth to that is great, and you could also get a free setup maybe if they can't touch you. Say they're locked into a ground move, or their other move is resisted. Say it's like a ground inviting coverage. Oh shit, you 4 times resist fighting, so now you're big chill and you can just go to town. So that's awesome. You also have a solid special defense stat. Just logically, I think it fits. So you have that good special defense stat as well. Base 87 is solid. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, Tinted Lens is a great ability. As for setup, you have access to Quiver Dance, Nasty Plot, and Calm Mind. Quiver Dance only gives you +1 special defense. Sorry, +1 speed and +1 special attack. It does not give you special defense anymore for balancing reasons. And these moves all have decreased PP in this hack, just to make it so that setup is a little bit less broken. It's still very, very good. It's really good still, but it is a little bit less overpowered and a little bit less dominant. So especially because the AI doesn't know how to fucking counteract it. They don't know how to switch out. They don't know how to fucking stop you from setting up, besides clicking taunt and maybe like just being too strong. And I will be giving them counter setup things like, heart swap and all this other stuff to like an unaware mons and whatever. But at the end of the day, like it's still pretty hard to stop you from setting up. So Quiver Dance is great at level 60. That gives you +1 speed, +1 special attack. With Tinted Lens, you can just go to town. Nasty Plot is actually arguably better than the Quiver Dance because you're already fast. So if you don't need the speed boost, Nasty Plot is reteachable via TM, and that is 1 PP. And at 117 base special attack with +2 rather, you're going to be killing everything with Tinted Lens Bug Buzz. Calm Mind is also really nice because of your good special defense stat, so you can use Calm Mind with Roost or Giga Drain. So that's awesome. Excuse me. You also have access to Baton Pass. Despite Baton Pass being negative priority, it's still a solid move. You also have access to Z Powder. So Powder will turn any fire type move the opponent is using into like nothing. It'll make them hurt themselves. So say there's a fire type Pokemon in front of you and it's clicking Fire Blast on you. You click Powder, you get priority. They take 25% of their HP and you get +1 to all your stats if you use Z Powder. So +1 to all your stats makes you bulky and strong and fast. So it's like Quiver Dance and Calm Mind kind of combined into one move. And you get that defense boost as well. So Quiver Dance Z Powder is very good. Although you can only use it one time, versus Quiver Dance you can use twice, and Nasty Plot you can use once for a stronger boost. So, and Calm Mind you can use up to 3 times. So it's not like Powder is immediately better, but Powder is very good, especially against the fire type, because the AI won't know what the fuck to do. They'll just keep clicking that fire move, so you can get I believe I made it 3 PP, so you can take 75% of the HP off for free before you start your sweep. Yeah, it's super fucking free to just kill mons with this. You also have a lot of really other cool stuff. So you have really powerful Bug Stab, so all bug moves are buffed on top of that super effective stuff I showed earlier. Infestation and So Siphon is a 45 base power bug type move that heals 100% of the damage you deal. So it's like almost like bug type Draining Kiss in a way. Infestation is slightly stronger for early game. It's 50 base power and it traps for 12 turns guaranteed. So that's a really nice residual damage type deal you can do with like Poison Powder to get a lot of like chip damage on them. Yeah, it's mostly for early game. And then at 15, you get Struggle Bug, which is 60 base power, -1 special attack. That's a good utility move, especially because it's unresisted with Tinted Lens. Or with Fluffy, it makes it so your special defense is higher. So that's really cool. You have Molt as Venonat because you don't get Roost until you evolve via TM. So I figured giving Venonat that reliable recovery move for early Akala Island is nice. Molt is a bug type version of Recover. Screech is just a nice utility, -1 to both the defenses. You have Stun Spore. Whirlwind is good. Whirlwind is plus priority. So what you can do with Whirlwind actually, so Whirlwind is plus priority, which might sound overpowered, but it's only 1 PP. So you kind of get like a one-time use, get the fuck out of my face, like card. You can kind of like force them out whenever you want, but it's only once. So you can time that. You can either use that as like a sweep stopper, like, oh shit, this Pokemon sweeping me, let me Whirlwind them out. Or what you can do with Venomoth specifically, or other setup Pokemon, is you can click Whirlwind on that first turn. So for example, a lot of Pokemon teams I've made have anti-setup leads. So they'll have Pokemon that are like specifically designed to make it so that it's hard to set up on them. If you keep Whirlwind up until those battles, you can click Whirlwind on that first turn and then switch something else out. That's a little bit of a gamble because you might switch in something that's even stronger or something that you can't set up on. But if you switch in something that you can set up on, then you can now, for example, if you have Sash Quiver Dance with Whirlwind, you get that Sash Quiver Dance up, or Sash Nasty Plot with Whirlwind out that taunt lead. Say like there's a fast taunt user in front of you, so you can't set up on them. You go ahead and now you can set up. Another really awesome thing you can do is with Sleep Powder. So Sleep Powder is 85% accuracy, and Sleep is buffed to always be consistent. So it's always 2 turns. So if you're outspeeding whatever's in front of you, you're only getting 1 turn of setup. Technically, you're getting 2 because on that second, so basically, say for example, I'm just going to scroll up by 1. So Parasect, you're faster than Parasect, okay? So with Parasect, you're going to Sleep Powder it. And now you're going to click Quiver Dance on that second turn, and now on that third turn they're supposed to wake up, but you are faster, so you still have a setup turn technically, or you could just kill them before they wake up if you want to do that. So you could totally click +1 Bug Buzz. I don't know if that would kill it, but like it would do a lot of damage for sure. So that's awesome. So that's another advantage of Bug Bomber, is that Bug Bomber is even stronger than Bug Buzz. So back to the bug type move options. Silver Gale is a 50 base power +1 priority bug type move. That's just nice to have because again, it's unresisted with Tinted Lens, so it's nice to have that as priority to kill faster Pokemon. So like Nasty Plot, Silver Gale is a really good set. You also have Bug Buzz, which is buffed to 95 base power, 30% chance English. My God, slow it down. 30% chance to flinch. Okay, that's really useful. And that's just a really strong, reliable bug type move. Signal Beam is via Tutor much earlier, and that is 80 base power, and that is a 25% chance to boost your special attack stat by 1. So that's actually arguably better than Bug Buzz in some cases, despite the power decrease because it's reteachable. And if it's not better than Bug Buzz, you still have that move for the majority of the hack. up until 37. Not the majority, but like the majority of the mid game and early game, you'll be having Signal Beam. And then towards the late game, burning Bug Buzz. And then the actual late game, you're going to be having Bug Bomber, which is an even more powerful move. So Bug Bomber is a bug type special version of Surging Strikes. So Bug Bomber is 25 base power per hit, but it always crits, and it's 90% accuracy. And that also bypasses Protect. So that's really strong move. Hits 3 times, so it bypasses stuff like Tanga Berry or Focus Sash or Multiscale or Sturdy. You bypass right through all that shit. So with Tinted Lens, Bug Bomber, the only downside is that you're inaccurate. But what you can run is a Wide Lens. So you can run Wide Lens, Sleep Powder, Bug Bomber, and Sludge. Actually, you don't get Sludge Wave, sorry. Hurricane. For example, you can run all these inaccurate moves. Moonblast, Aeroblast, those are all slightly inaccurate. Hurricane is 85% accuracy with Wide Lens. Wide Lens is about to 15% boost, so that will give you much more accuracy. So you can really go to town with that Bug Bomber spam with Wide Lens for sure, because Bug Bomber won't miss with Wide Lens, and you'll be critting, so you can't, the Pokemon can't boost in front of you. It bypasses Sturdy, all this other stuff. Focus Sash, you can really just sweep an entire team with Nasty Plot Bug Bomber. You can sweep an entire team easily, and that's not very common in this hack. A lot of Pokemon struggle to sweep entire teams because of and they still might, it's not very bulky physically at all. It's very frail, and even especially it's not that bulky. But if you can manage to get that Nasty Pot off safely and you run that Wide Lens without that Focus Sash, you can guaranteed get that Bug Bomber sweep no matter what. You won't have to miss and worry about dying. Especially in a Nuzlocke, I wouldn't run Bug Bomber without a Wide Lens personally on a frail Pokemon. On a bulkier Pokemon, you can afford to miss, but not on Venomoth. Unless you're running a Calm Mindset, maybe then you can afford to miss, I guess. But I don't know. At that point, I just run Signal Beam or Bug Buzz personally. Bug Bomber is really good to bypass all that stuff, though, and also just for the increased power, because Bug Bomber is effectively 113 base power, which is about 20 base power stronger than Bug Buzz almost. So that's really good. It's about 18, 17-ish base power stronger than Bug Buzz. So yeah, that's a really great move right there. Sleep Powder, like I said, is great. You have good coverage also with flying moves. I didn't mention those earlier. So again, Psychic, Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, Nature Power, Dark Pulse, Giga Drain, Hurricane, Air Slash. You got a lot of good coverage there. You also get good utility early game with like poisoning moves like Toxic Thread. Z Supersonic gives you +2 special attack, so that's essentially like an early version of Nasty Plot. So if you want to run Z Supersonic, the only downside is that it is going to take up your move slot, but it's still really good to have, and it's going to take up your Z move. But it is extremely powerful, and it can't be taunted, so you can definitely get some Z Supersonic sweeps before you get Nasty Plot. As for the logic, I don't think anybody's gonna think Nasty Plot is weird. I mean, they're kind of like a little bug, like a fucking evil little bug. Not evil, but like, Nasty Plot, a lot of weird shit had Nasty Plot to begin with, so I don't think it's very weird at all. Yeah, and also for the logic for Moonblast is because, again, all of the dex entries talk about like the darkness and like the moon, and they are a moth, so it's drawn by light, and it's blah blah blah. So yeah, I think I covered about everything already. That was really quick. I just talked super fast. I think that's really that's everything. I mean, there's other utility stuff like Parting Shot is nice, Toxic Spikes plus Vanish Shocker is very nice. By a TM, Reflect and Light Screen is a decent utility. You can also, like, that's another thing, like Tinted Lens isn't purely offensive. Tinted Lens, another benefit of Tinted Lens is that you don't have to run coverage, so you can just run 3 utility moves plus Tinted Lens Bug Buzz, or Tinted Lens Signal Beam, or Tinted Lens Bug Bomb, or whatever it is. So you can use dual screens, Parting Shot, and Bug Buzz as your moveset. That's great. You can get those screens up with Light, and then you can Parting Shot right out of there. And then you get that, now you open up the door for something else to set up if you don't want to set up yourself. So tons of great stuff right there. If you're curious how the speed tiers rack up, 111 base speed is amazing. That does outspeed base 110. I think it fits given like their appearance. It's a little high, but again, they can fly, so I don't think it's that weird. If I was being more reasonable about it, obviously I would make it like 100 something base speed, and then like 100 something base special, like 100 to 110 base special attack. But it's cool. It's Venomoth. It's a really cool design, and it is like I give more buffs to Pokemon that were not as good before. So yeah, you can see where it stacks up here. You can also just click like Scarf like sets or Spec sets. Like you don't have to do all this like setup stuff. You can just run Specs Bug Buzz, and that's amazing in its own right. Like that's really strong. Or Specs Bug Bomb or whatever it is. You could just go to town and kill shit. And I'm repeating myself a little bit. It's probably my sign to end the video because I think I covered about everything else, honestly, not too much else to talk about. So I really do appreciate everybody listening. If you're new here, this is a very straightforward change, but there's a lot of other more in-depth change videos. Not that this wasn't in depth, it's just that it's kind of, everything is very self-explanatory here. and I think I covered everything pretty quickly. But there's a lot of really other awesome changes. So if this thing interested you, or you listen this far in general, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe. That would help the algorithm. That would help boost my videos. It would help more people see my stuff. And that's really all I ask for, is for more exposure. So it would be helpful if you could do that for me. If you enjoyed, obviously, I'm not going to hold you at gunpoint and say do it, but if you enjoyed, then you may as well, see more stuff from me. I have tons of other videos to check out, so if you like this one, there's tons more. And you can always look at the Google Sheet yourself. You can find it in the description. You can look at all the changes to all of the moves and all of the Pokemon yourself. You can look at all that firsthand. So yeah, I really do appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoyed.